You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Dolphins fans. Welcome into DolphinsTalk.com. Dolphins matchup. We're here, unfortunately, after another loss. A pretty darn tough one. We're going to get into it. But on the bright side, a good thing that I can tell you about is there's a great affordable place. You can get all of your Miami sports team merchandise. If you're getting disillusioned with your Miami Dolphins, well, luckily there's another professional sports football team in that area. It's called the Miami Hurricanes, who are having an excellent season this year, looking playoff bound. I predicted it elsewhere, and I would have talked about it here as well. Miami Hurricanes headed to the playoffs for the first time. Book it down, and you can get all of your Canes gear along with Miami Dolphins gear. Along with hockey season is back. Florida Panthers, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's get in there and get that stuff. They have it there. They have all this and so much more at caneswear.com. Go in there if you need a new jersey, a new hat, a new shirt, sweats, anything you need. The Hurricanes, the Panthers, the Dolphins. Anything that you need, get in there, caneswear.com. If you are so fortunate, so blessed, so sun-kissed to be down in the local area after you pay homage to my co-host, the Baron of South Florida, Robert Burns, you can stop by their brick and mortar at 2655 South University Drive, Davie, Florida, for all things you need. South Florida sports teams. Unfortunately, I do not believe at this point yet caneswear.com sells guards, left guards and right guards who play football. And that is the main story that we got going on here for the Miami Dolphins in this loss.
You know, a couple more weeks, they might even sell paper bags. You might be able to get an officially licensed Dolphins paper bag. Not predicting the future, but it might be an option.
Boulder Bull, Robert.
Oh,
the Dolphins are going to win more than 2 games this year.
Bold. I would have predicted that earlier. It's bold. They're just good enough to win a few games to, again, get them the 8th pick in the draft. Like, even as it sits now, they're the 5th pick in the draft or something like that as of today, or as of this week, rather. So by the end of the season, they'll probably be 8, 12. They won't be good, but they'll be good enough to not be the Saints, to not be the Giants or the Jets. And I legitimately think they are talent-wise better than those teams. They're just not playing them. And they have had a tough schedule. Stupid losses. 2 stupid losses out of the what do they have? 4? 2 stupid losses out of the 4 that they have.
I think technically you could look at the Bills' loss as a stupid loss as well, because stupidity is what caused that to happen.
But again, that's not a team they're supposed to beat. You know, that is the Buffalo Bills, who are regarded as a Super Bowl contender. The Dolphins, nobody was pretending they were Super Bowl contenders or barely even playoff contenders going into the season. So that's not a game you expect them, or a lot of people expect them to win. It would have been a sneaky win if they got it. The boneheaded losses were against the Patriots and last week against the Carolina Panthers, where they had a 17-point lead. They had the game won on special teams against the Patriots. We've talked about this. They had the game. All you have to do is literally just don't screw up, right? Don't let a running back, Uncle Rico, run for almost 199 yards, almost 200 yards on you. Let a guy who was probably banished from 3 football teams at that point, and considering the Rocks League, if it's even around still, to have a chance at, making history. Going over 200 yards has been huge for a guy like Rico Dowdle. So if you don't do those things, those are the bonehead losses. Now, this is a game where you weren't supposed to win, but because of injuries, Eric, if you do everything you're supposed to, you have a chance. Now, are either of us going to be bold or dumb enough to predict that chance to come true? Give it about 30 minutes.
You're talking about them having a chance against the Chargers? Do you want to finish off our friend Patrick? Is that what you want? Because he's probably having an aneurysm right now watching this.
Here you go. the Chargers are as beat up, if not more beat up, than the Miami Dolphins. And you're home. That is the only reason why there's a chance. You can't bank on the heat, the weather. You can't bank on any of that. If you don't screw up and you play your best game, you got a chance to beat a team that you're not supposed to.
So there's been a lot of nasty discourse about that game. You're right on the head about, and that's one thing I do want to say. Like, I feel like all this discourse is going on about one coaching decision and one sack and one, where's the smoke for the defense giving up 200 yards to a UFL running back? Should have never even been a situation where we're talking about Jonas Savaiinaea and Tua and coaching decisions going for them, fourth down and not. We had a 17-point lead against one of the worst teams in the draft.
For old heads like us, with that defense, He Hate Me could have gotten 200 yards.
Yes,
I don't even
sir.
remember He Hate Me's name.
This is why I'm hoping, maybe they start selling guards at caneswear.com, because this guard play, you cannot win an NFL football game with the level of guard play that was going on in this game. Both Savaiinaea and Cole Strange combined had a pass grade of 11. 11. I've only seen a handful, single digits of single players who had a score that low. They had 11 combined. You're just and I asked the senior PFF analyst. I asked him on Twitter. We talk after the games. I don't know if he appreciates my candor that much, but I appreciate him answering me. I asked, do the grades drop on plays where there's obvious holding that doesn't get called? Because I'm telling you guys right now, I started to pay attention to it in the second half specifically. Not only were they both getting beat like a drum, but they were holding on basically. Cole Strange was basically tackling the person in front of him on basically every snap in the second half. Sometimes he'd get called, sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he would take a piggyback ride on the defensive tackle on the way to the quarterback. That literally happened on one play where he did get called. He was dangling off the back of Derek Brown as Derek Brown ran to the quarterback. All that said, I also... It's not just one, right? So now we're covering all of the things. The defense, 200 yards to a backup running back.
Yep.
The guard play. But also, everybody just wants to wash Tua's hands of this. And he played a good game. I do want to say he had a good game statistically. But, brother, how did we get into that third down on that last drive? Because he missed a wide open pass with no pressure. And then Savaiinaea, because everyone's like, oh, Savaiinaea sucks so much. He gave up the sack. On that third down. Yeah, how did we get the third down? It's your $55 million quarterback who gets paid more than that whole offensive line combined, missing a wide open pass with good protection on the play before it. So, there's plenty of blame to go around. And honestly, and I've said this about other scenarios as well, to me, it's the coward's way out to pick on the rookie offensive lineman and be like, you're the reason we can't win nothing when you got a $50 million quarterback missing passes. There's enough to go around, and the guy who gets paid the most should take because that's how roster building works. You take up that much money on one person, the rest of the players are going to be cheaper, less skilled players, and he has to elevate them. And you don't elevate people by missing wide open passes with good protection. Are we going to do that every time Savaiinaea does do his job? Then we can point out everybody else who doesn't, right? But we highlight him anytime he gets whooped, which is often. I do want to say this is going to be the first week Savaiinaea is not going to be matched up with a Pro Bowler. It is federally, legally possible for him to have a game where he is not matched up with a Pro Bowler. I'm excited to see it. He's been awful. That is not – he's the worst starting guard in football. I do want to say, though, he's every single matchup. The first 5 matchups have all been against Pro Bowlers. What was the last wide receiver you heard of that debuted against 5 straight Pro Bowl corners to start? What was the last corner who started their career against 5 straight Pro Bowl wide receivers? Who was the last quarterback who debuted against 5 straight top 8 defenses? So, there's going to be struggles, and we've covered the run-pass balance before, and why do you keep calling plays that you can see that he cannot do or cannot help you with, you keep calling them, you keep wrecking the confidence. It is what it is. None of it was good enough.
No.
Everybody, it was a letdown. The guard play and the defense to me is the thing that stands out the worst right now.
Yep.
You're not going to win with either. So, right before I said Tua's turning the ball over, you're not going to win. He hasn't been doing that, so he's off the hook for now.
Yeah,
you're not going to win with this defense. You're not going to win with this guard play.
But when the game's on the line, you can almost predict. So either going to be a pick or a sack. I think that's of the Dolphins' last drives this year. That was what, their second or third of their losses where Tua's taken a sack or had a pick to kill the game. Like the game was in Tua's hands in a couple of those losses, and the Dolphins could not get anywhere with it, whether it was because of himself or because of the offensive line. Now, with that being said, this offensive line is going up against an offensive line on the other side where the Chargers
that is also very bad.
Has a worse pass protection offensive line than the Dolphins, with Justin Herbert being sacked 17 times this year so far, and Tua's only been sacked 11. Only been sacked 11. So
that should give you some idea of how bad their line is.
That goes to show that this is not going to be a sweep in the position battles, but they are going to be close. So let's jump in.
Let's jump in. This week's matchup, the Los Angeles Chargers coming into town.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you know more
Two
about
quarterbacks
it than me.
that will forever be linked.
Yeah, you know more about it than me. This has been a Dolphins fan civil war that has raged through generations. Herbert, Tua. The stats have been rough lately.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it protection based. I do want to say Tua has had good stats. I still haven't felt comfortable.
He hasn't lost you the game. You're right.
And I've seen him miss in some high leverage situations. Also, the stats are also deceiving. There was plenty of plays on Sunday against Carolina where they would be quick hitters or screens where he was not accurate enough. He's putting it up here. He's putting it down low. He's putting it behind him. If you're going to run a quick hitter screen, the ball has to be perfect in those situations. And it should be, because you're an NFL quarterback and you're throwing the ball from 7 feet away. So you can't be inaccurate at all on quick hitters and screens, because if the receiver has to stop their forward momentum or slow down to adjust to catch the ball, that defeats the purpose of doing a quick screen or a quick hitter. So do not
deep pass to a certain somebody who had to again slow down.
We can't even have fun about Darren Waller. It hurts me.
I was mentioning Waddle.
Yeah,
Waddle had to slow down.
Waddle,
turn around,
excellent job as a wide receiver one. Excellent job as a wide receiver one this week. Loved everything I saw out of that guy. All that said, I'm going Herbert.
Okay. Justin Herbert is 44-40 career record in the NFL.
He is.
Tua Tagovailoa is 39-28 career record in the NFL. And I think everyone can clearly say that they would much rather have Justin Herbert.
Oh, I think you'll see some disagreement about that out there. There's still some zealots who are holding on.
There are a few, but I think that Herbert's had some injuries. He's had a couple of bad games too. That's why this is not as far as a runaway as I think it has been. In the past 2 games after they went 3-0, now the Chargers are 0-2. They lost to the Giants, who were winless at the time, and in a rough game that I just needed. What's his face? Their wide receiver to get me 50 yards, and he didn't, so I lost my parlay. But I'm not holding a grudge against the Chargers at all. Keenan Allen. But, Herbert's thrown about, handful of interceptions in the past 2 games, and he has not helped his team win at all. Now, Tua hasn't done anything, like I mentioned, to lose the games for you, but he also hasn't won you the games either. He hasn't gone out there and said, you know what, I got this, 300 yards on me. I'll take care of this. It's no problem. I lean towards Herbert, of course, and I don't think it's as close as in previous years it might have been, but I lean towards Herbert knowing that I feel he has the capability to bounce back in a more capable way than Tua is. Tua give you 285 yards, a couple touchdowns, safe. But you're still going to see a lot of those passes to the side, those wide receiver screens, those quick hits, and Darren Waller has bailed him out in a couple of occasions that would have either been no touchdowns or interceptions. And Darren Waller has made something happen. So Tua's had a little luck on his side, but Herbert, I think, is the better player now that we're 5-6 years in. If you were to build a franchise, if I'm going to pay anyone $50 million, I'll pay that guy. Having a feeling he can go out there and win me the game a little bit more than Tua can win me the game.
Oh, yeah, I would go with that too. And I will say, in the defense of some of the play calling, when you have guard play like they have, screens is what you got to do, and I'm fine with that. But like, if you're going to do screens, you have to be good at screens. So start getting the ball where it needs to be there. To running backs.
I don't want to hear you kiss the behind of Devon Achane anymore because, I mean, first off, Dolphins win the matchup just because the Chargers don't have their two top running backs.
Top running backs. Yeah.
However, a franchise running back can make Barry Sanders made something out of nothing during his career. Achane had 15 yards last week. 15 yards. Actually, let me double check. Let me make sure that number is accurate.
Didn't he make that ridiculous catch in the end zone though for a touchdown?
Great.
Come on now.
I'm talking about a running. I don't want a wide receiver. I need a running back who gets me in. I'm sorry, I was wrong. He had 16 yards on 10 attempts. Eric, I can get you 9 yards on 10 attempts. He got you 16 yards as a running back on 10 attempts. And yeah, your offensive line blows, but if you got a beat up offensive line, you've got a really good running back. He can get you more than that. So I don't want to hear he's maybe a very versatile player, maybe a very skilled player. But as far as a running back, he cannot make something out of nothing. Saquon Barkley can make something out of nothing. There are some other backs in the league that can make things happen. And I haven't seen that in the past couple of weeks as a pure running back. Now, 99 yards against the Jets. Again, a lot of people can run for 99 yards against the Jets. 62 yards before that. 30 yards before that. 55. Are those RB1 numbers for you?
This hurts. This is painful. This is painful.
I don't want to hear it. Once he had 16 yards against the Carolina Panthers, I don't care what can of spinach the Carolina Panthers defense ate before that game. 16 yards is not RB1.
Well, he's RB1 in this matchup because he's going against Hassan Haskins, who
he went up against Rico Dowdle last week.
Dowdle. We're about to see. Yeah. Hassan Haskins. I bet you he's a popular pickup on waiver wire this week. He should be
real fast. I bet.
Wide receivers. The Chargers got a sneaky good group over there, brother. They got Quentin Johnston's finally playing a little bit, even though he had a funny a whoopsie last week that helped cost them that game. Lad McConkey, always solid productive, solid overall football player. Love him. And then Keenan Allen, the old warhorse, keeps on rolling. He has a 75 grade this year. He's ranked in the top 20 receivers. Still doing it, man.
Game, though.
Love what he does. Again, I loved Waddle as wide receiver one. I loved his performance last week. Super happy with what he put out. But Washington and Westbrook-Akine still, they were pretty persona non grata. It's tough to put a ton of awesome reps on tape with the guard play that we were experiencing, with the play designs that had to be done last week because of the lack of being able to hold up in the middle, especially. But that's all woulda, coulda, shoulda. So got to go Chargers.
Yeah, I mean this one's relatively easy to me as I look at and agree with you that Waddle played a hell of a game. Being back to wide receiver one like he was before Tyreek in his rookie season, but I think this is a case that it's the sum of the group is better than the individuals of the Miami Dolphins. So if you put those three together for the Chargers, there's more productivity there than banking on Waddle and Waller. I don't know. Do you want to count the tight ends now at this point? Because Waller's not blocking anyone. He's almost specifically a receiving threat. So
that just might be a mandate on the Dolphins. We don't know because nobody else is blocking anyone either.
That's very true. Maybe just go out there and just Olay. and see what happens. And maybe Tua can get the ball out fast enough.
Well, because
even
also
Waller,
it seems like our linemen think that they're wide receivers because we get called for a legal man downfield 3 times a game. So maybe that is, everybody's assignment.
Well, here's the thing. As many penalties as we get called, the Chargers have been called for more penalties in the past 2 games as well that they've lost. So it's another one of those where a team they should beat has just been shooting themselves in the foot. So it gives the Dolphins a chance. So even if you throw Darren Waller in the receiving group, I still think that the Chargers have a better overall, but it's a much closer gap than if it was just Waddle and Westbrook-Akine and whoever else they put out there at this point. So I think that, and I don't want to keep counting my running back as a wide receiver. I want my running back to be a running back, not a wide receiver. So to me, I still think it's a Chargers win, but it's closer if you put Waller in there because he's just been playing lights out. And wouldn't it be something if the Dolphins have a tight end that goes to the Pro Bowl 2 years in a row, and maybe they don't keep either one of them after each season?
Yeah, right. As far as the tight end matchup, I love Deronda Getson second coming out as a prospect when I was doing draft stuff. He's been productive as a receiver, like what he's doing, but I mean Waller has been it's been great. It's been a revelation.
He's up there with Daniel Jones as comeback player of the year, even though Daniel Jones is
absolutely top. So we're going Waller.
All right, so I'm going to let you kind of jump on this one. We'll just throw offensive lines in there. We know how bad Miami's is. I don't think that your bet for Aaron Brewer being the number 1 center in the league is doing real great right about now.
He's number 2, baby, and he was number 1 last week.
Well, he better still get those questionable snaps under wraps, okay?
That wasn't great. Wasn't great.
Yeah. But regardless, looking at the Chargers, I mentioned how hurt they are. You got Mekhi Becton, Joe Alt, a couple of guys that might play, Trey Pippins on the outside. They have the potential, if they were healthy, to be a really good offensive line. Injuries are in the way, and Joe Alt is almost all worldly, depending on the week that he's out there. So I almost go push just because of injuries. Like, I don't know. We talked about how one team is slightly worse at pass protection than the other team. We know, one team has the ability to almost close their own holes for the running backs as opposed to opening them for the Dolphins. And so I think it's a push. I don't think either one is great. It's going to be who around them can make more plays.
Yeah. At least we have 2 good players. They have 0 right now. Their offensive line is horrendous. Again, like Robert said,
you might have a chance to get back out there, buddy.
Just to put it into perspective. Yeah, for 6 plays, and I'll be James Daniels status, looking like Peter Griffin at the bottom of the hill, all twisted up. Yeah. We got Pat Paul. We've got Aaron Brewer. They have nothing. The whole line is under 50
guys.
grade. They're so bad. To put it in perspective, like my partner Robert said, we talk about how bad the line is every week when we talk about Tua and the pressure he's under. Justin Herbert's been sacked 6 more times than Tua has. That's how bad the Chargers' offensive line is. Now, when we talk about the overall matchup, is our pass rush going to take advantage of it? Of course not. But if we're comparing position to position, yeah, I'll go with push. I was in a situation where I was like, I will never pick the Dolphins' offensive line ever again until at least James Daniels is back and Austin Jackson is back, and this is a different situation. But you have helped me to see the light here. Let's go with a push on this one. Yeah. I'll tell you what's not a push. What's not a push is the best damn online betting sports book that's out there, and that is MyBookie. You can jump on MyBookie and be the one in your group chat talking about all the money you made on your parlay over the weekend, in-game, college, NFL. It's all there. Use our promo code DOLPHINS, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you can use the bet back bonus token, and your bet will be fully covered as well. It's a beautiful thing. Jump on for all of those things. MyBookie, I wonder if you can still I bet the odds for the Miami Dolphins winning the AFC East are very friendly right now. You could probably get a,
You
10,000
could
to
also
1.
just give me the money. I kick you in the balls, and we call it a
We
week.
can both give you our cash apps right over this thing, and you can send it to us instead of doing that, or you can, make the chant. Should you say you can give it to me and I can kick you in the balls? At least you're offering a service. There you go.
You're getting something out of it,
Basically
right?
the same thing. But if that's not what you're interested in, you can do the rest of it on MyBookie. Jump in there now. Use the promo code. It's all covered. What are you waiting for? What is the risk? There is none. Another thing that's probably not too much at risk is Justin Herbert facing this Dolphins pass rush.
Hold on. I just want everyone to know. I love how much of a professional you are. You just kept going through that read and then let the joke marinate for a second before getting it. Okay. I love the fact that you had to come back to it in a second because you were so dedicated to the ad read that
Got it.
It just
On
goes
it.
right over.
I've been waiting for this my whole life, baby. The Dolphins pass rush, still horrendous, still headed in the wrong direction. People,
there is no pass rush.
People unfairly have said that Kenneth Grant is useless on a football field. And I just want to inform you that Kenneth Grant was pushed backwards with such ferocity that he was used as a battering ram to knock Tyrell Dodson out of the play as well as himself by the Panthers offensive lineman. So before you say that guy is useless out there, just know that he was used as a battering ram by the offensive player to block two players on the defense. This draft class is crazy. You have managed to take in the first and second round the two lowest ranked players at their position. Anyways, pass rush.
And Grant was supposed to be a run stopping specialist. That's why you drafted this kid out of Michigan, is to stop the run. And the Dolphins have, as a unit, the third out of 30 out of 32 teams in run defense. So it's not working, whatever you're doing there. And maybe it's the fact that either he's getting double teamed, he doesn't know how to handle it. Either Sealer's getting double teamed as the main man without someone who's able to make things happen, a la Christian Wilkins next to him. And that's not helping. But whatever is working, violence isn't solving it. Scheme isn't solving it. Nothing is solving it. And I guess if you're looking at position to position,
the Chargers just acquired Odafe Owe from the Ravens.
Yeah.
A high draft pick who actually has a pretty good grade. Now, obviously, it's a red flag when you are acquiring a player for a pretty low draft pick who from a team that is literally on fire right now, careening into the side of a ditch of a mountain with porta-johns loaded in the back of the plane. That's how bad the Ravens situation is. And they were perfectly willing to let him go for a pretty low.
That was a brother-to-brother trade. That was Harbaugh.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. Because I'm not going to say it's automatic. Like, Odafe Owe is on the Chargers now. Like, he's going to be a beast. Because, again, that's kind of a red flag that such a bad team was so willing to let him leave. But it still makes them better. It still makes them better than the Dolphins, so I'm going Chargers.
But why is he on the team? Because Khalil Mack and Bud Dupree are on the sidelines, not able to play.
Yep.
If either of those two are out there, you don't need to even go to that length, and it's an easy wash. So the fact that we talked about injuries before, the fact that those two guys, starting linebackers for the Chargers, the fact that Deshaun Hand, a former Miami Dolphins, lineman as well, is out there, may or may not be able to play, that kind of, leaves that door open for you might be able to they have a guy out there who's been on the team for 4 days by the time you play this game.
Yeah.
So is he going to understand the full scheme of this defense? No, but the defense wasn't playing that well in the first place, or they wouldn't have lost the past 2 games in a row the way that they have. So that's why I think that you have the opportunity, because the Dolphins defense the defensive front is still whole. I can't say the same thing about the secondary. It is still whole, while the Chargers defense is all kinds of mishmash and rigmarole up. That's why I don't lean as heavily as you do. I don't lean towards the unknown in that particular case, not knowing what you're going to get. I'm not saying the Dolphins are any better. I'm saying that they are healthy and they still
I
could
do when
come
you
through.
know what you have is shit.
Well, that's the other thing is when you know what you have, it is garbage. So I'm going with what the hell? I'll go with the Chargers. I was going to push until you convinced me, as I convinced you earlier.
Yeah.
I go with the Chargers, but it's not a runaway. It's not a runaway this week.
Yeah, it's the defensive line is whole. It's a whole turd, is what it is. That's what yeah, no, I'm not. Come on, 200 yards, Rico Daddle, using players as blocking battering rams against our own.
Using my own argument against me now. Is that where you're going? With
Get out of here.
Fair.
The linebackers are
middling. Now, here's the thing: it's much closer in the front than it is in the secondary. Chargers secondary lights out, man. They have one of the better pass defenses in the National Football League.
Yep.
I don't care how good you want to tell me Rasul Douglas was last week.
Very good. But not
who's on the other side of the field with him.
Exactly.
Here's the other problem. Who's on the other side of the field with him? Jack Jones. Sliced and diced, and he should be cut. And the only reason he's not is because everybody else in the Dolphins secondary is injured.
Well, they don't have bodies. They've actually moved Fitzpatrick down to nickel and got Dante Trader back there at the safety because they're running out of bodies in the corners. Rasul Douglas, excellent. Mika Fitzpatrick, excellent. The rest, not so excellent. As my my famous saying is coming along, red as the devil's ass cheeks. That is the rest of the secondary. On the other side, as you say, Derwin James Jr., beast. The rest of the corners pretty darn good. One of the better pass defenses in the league. Real quick, our linebackers are pretty close to the same. Both middling to decent. Push, or if you want to put it as part of the front seven, then Chargers. Chargers on the secondary. This is getting pretty nasty here. Special teams.
Well, I mean, Cam Dicker hasn't missed a kick, but I don't think Riley Patterson has either. He's 5 for 5 and 9 for 9. He hasn't missed an extra point. So it comes down to how do you feel about the return game and the coverage. And I don't trust the Dolphins coverage as much as I don't trust anybody else's. So I go Chargers.
Chargers. There's a segment of the viewers who are like, why don't you guys just get on here and scream about how everybody should get fired every single week for 35 minutes a week? Hopefully they're happy with this episode because we are crushing these position groups.
I've done worse with Mike, and we haven't had anyone come back. And the problem is you've probably listened to those other shows. Why do you want to listen to it again? And I'm not going to knock it on Dolphins Talk. There are also opinions along the same way, and I don't think that right now is the time to fire everyone. You're not going to fire everyone and bring anyone in. That's the problem. You're not going to get anyone right now. What's the point?
That's what those shows are for. Those shows are for that. This show is about matchups, baby. So we gotta deal with schemes we run now and players we have now.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to say fire the coach. I will say I would prefer to have John Harbaugh if we're doing the coach to coach matchup.
Now we're on the coach to coach. I don't think anybody in this world is picking old Mike over Jimbo, especially right now. Especially with what would come. Let's all just daydream a little bit. What would come with Jim Harbaugh, with the discipline, the gap scheme running, the protecting the quarterback, except for when all of your offensive linemen are injured, toughness on defense. One could dream. Yes. Going big time going. I've always been a big Harbaugh guy. Love Jim Harbaugh.
Should have been the coach years ago.
Years ago. There was a little bit of buzz about that, wasn't there? Yeah.
Sure then. Flew down here and everything.
Final score.
Oh, final score Chargers 24-17.
You know what? I think I like that. I think I'll go with it too. I cannot foresee, the Dolphins. I can't foresee the Dolphins beating a team with a true franchise quarterback for the rest of the season. It's just too much to ask between all the holes that the Dolphins have. But at the same time, their line is so bad that I cannot see them scoring more. Like they struggle to score points right now because of how bad the line is. So I like
I
24.
think even next week against the Browns, I'm going to have a tough time deciding on the Dolphins against the Falcons, Ravens.
Browns?
Lamar Jackson should be back by then. Bills, Commanders, Saints. Maybe I'm trying to think of games
Oh
where
no, not
going
the Saints.
forward I would feel comfortable picking Miami. So maybe Cleveland, but their defense is probably better. The Saints.
Oh, there's no probably. Their defense yards per game wise is making history in the NFL.
Yeah. Miles
Yeah.
Garrett's gonna have a field day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the Saints, you got the Jets, you got maybe the Bengals because they don't have a quarterback. I mean, they have Joe Flacco now. Maybe you get a shot against the Patriots. I don't know. Like it's enough for them to again win 4 or 5 games and not be in the top 10.
If the team that showed up on Sunday keeps showing up, then I don't think so. I was thoroughly disgusted. Let's do a little bit of Boulder Bowl here. We got a couple of minutes. Bold or Bull? Darren Waller over 1 touchdown.
Over 1, that's got to be 1.5 or a half.
2.
What is it?
Is he going to score
So
2 touchdowns?
he's getting 2 or he's getting 1, right?
Yeah. How far we've come?
I think if you're giving me 1.5, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to go Bull because the Chargers secondary is that good. And if you're going to take away anything, take away the pass because they're not going to beat you in the run game.
Not from what we've seen last week. Bold or Bull? Okay, this is a good one. This would have been more. I would have made this more spicy if Hampton was playing. I had a good one all loaded up for you, but then he had to go. He got hurt this week. So here we go. This is still Hassan Haskins over 120. Basically, what we're talking about here is this run defense so bad that you can just put anybody out there and they're going to go over 120.
Man, you know what? I say Bull because of the injuries to the offensive line that we talked about for the Chargers. I think that it might be close.
But this is it though. If he does go over 120, we're having a different conversation going forward.
You can't do it twice in 2 weeks. I mean, actually, they gave up a hell of a game to Jonathan Taylor week 1. They gave up actually a mediocre game to James Cook against the Bills. They gave up Rico Dowdle's 199 yards. I got to go Bull. Just for my own sanity. I got to go Bull. It can't happen again. Not at home. Can you imagine if they gave 120 yards to a guy nobody knows at home? Booze.
I can't imagine it.
Bluebirds and brown bags.
Hopefully, I will continue
and brown
to
bags
just
in the stand
imagine
probably
it.
anyway. All right, here's one for you.
Oh, okay.
Your boy Devon Achane. I mentioned his numbers: 55, 30, 62, crazy. 99, and 16.
This man has been the glue of the offense, and you're just like...
He will have a run for over 20 yards.
Bull.
He's done it twice in the past 5 games. He had a 26-yarder against the Colts. He had a 21-yarder against the Jets. He had a 14-yarder against the Bills. Almost got there. He will have a run of over 20.
So there's 2 factors, right? You want to say Bull because these guys are probably going to be stacking the box after what they saw last week. But in situations where you run blitz, if you miss, it's a house call.
20.
Yeah, so I'm still going to go Bull.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't get the taste. I can't wash off the filth of what I had to witness.
Wash off those 16 yards.
After what I had to witness last week in that offensive line play. Good.
That's fair.
Great. Goga Muga. 24-17 is what we're both going with. Another Dolphins loss as they work on. Like I said, I don't predict that they're going to get 3 wins, especially if the team that I saw Sunday comes out again. I would love to be proved wrong. We're both going 24-17 Chargers. We'd love to sit here and be wrong and have a bunch of stuff crack off. We hope that's how we're coming to you next week on Dolphins Matchup, DolphinsTalk.com. Let's go, Dolphins fans.